Samuelson, a bus operator going across the walkway. There are pedestrians, and a pedestrian gets caught in a blind spot, should not be arrested. He should not be held accountable for that. If a bus operator is acting recklessly or negligently, that's a different story.
There's some degree of negligence by definition if a pedestrian has been killed or injured.
There is some degree of negligence, but it's on the city and it's on the MTA because they won't correct the blind spots on the buses. So yes, they're being negligent.
Paul Steely-White, Executive Director of Transportation Alternatives. The vast majority of bus drivers go through their whole career without seriously injuring or killing anyone. But we have to make sure that those few instances where it does happen, that there's a thorough investigation. And the only time these drivers are charged is when there is a thorough investigation, and then only then is that charge brought. Now, when the charge is brought, it's a misdemeanor charge, right? It's the lowest level criminal charge there is.
But it's a criminal charge, isn't it?
And that's important. And that's important because it has to have consequences. There has to be a stigma there.
Council member Rory Lansman, the chairman of the Courts and Legal Services Committee, who represents a car-friendly district of Queens, wants to amend the right-of-way law to make it clearer. He doesn't trust the anti-car activists as he sees them.
We need to understand that the roadways were built primarily for cars.
But the pendulum does need to swing a little bit more towards safety of pedestrians and bikers.
We always need to swing the pendulum in the direction of safety and bikers, but we cannot do that at a cost of turning ordinary, well-meaning New Yorkers who happen to drive into criminals.
TA Executive Director Paul Steely-White doesn't regret the partisanship surrounding the street battle. It's a matter of life and death, he says.
Whenever you're changing policy, whenever you're changing culture in a place like New York City, you have to be strident to be successful. And if we sound a little bit assiduous, if we sound shrill, it's probably because every day we're working with New Yorkers who've lost family members to negligent drivers. We're changing the culture so that driving is something that people take more seriously, and that when faced with the decision of saving a second or two and waiting and making sure that crosswalk is clear, you better be making that right choice.
Matt Wells reporting for PM from New York. In the next few minutes, with the board of Robert Peston, we'll talk about the cricket and much more information on Sir Edward Heath. It's 5:32. Diana has the news.
The Bank of England has kept interest rates on hold at 0.5% for the 78th consecutive month. Members of the Monetary Policy Committee voted by 8-1 to keep rates on hold. The first time for months the decision has not been unanimous. The Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, said a rise was drawing closer, but he warned there could be a further spell of deflation in the short term, suggesting the ultra-low rates look set to continue in the few months ahead. 2 more police forces are now known to have received allegations against the former Prime Minister Sir Edward Heath. Gloucestershire Police and Thames Valley Police say they have passed accusations to detectives working on Operation Hydrant, the police group coordinating claims of historical child sexual abuse. The Metropolitan Police, as well as the Wiltshire, Kent, Jersey and Hampshire forces, have already received allegations against Sir Edward, who died in 2005. Senior ministers have been meeting charities and councils to draw up plans to support thousands of children affected by the closure of the charity Kids Company. Its founder, Camilla Batman-Gelage, said a smear campaign was to blame, and she has denied claims of financial mismanagement. A preliminary investigation has found that a plane that crashed in Hampshire last Friday landed too far down a runway after trying to avoid colliding with a microlight aircraft. The private plane was carrying 3 members of Osama bin Laden's family, who died along with the Jordanian pilot, and it crashed at Blackbush Airport. It's emerged that Harry Clark, the Glasgow bin lorry driver who collapsed at the wheel in December, has been suspended from work. 6 people died when the vehicle veered out of control 3 days before Christmas. During an inquiry, it has emerged that Mr. Clark suffered numerous blackouts dating back to the 1970s. The council says it needs to investigate why the incidents were not recorded on medical declarations. Now the currency and stock markets. In London, the 100 share index closed 5 points down at 6,747. A short while ago in New York, the Dow Jones was down 130 points at 17,420. Against the dollar, the pound is trading at $1.55, and against the euro, it's at €1.43, which makes the euro worth 70 pence.
Last night, about this time in fact, we were debating whether Sir Edward Heath was being unfairly treated by the police and the media. Tonight, our correspondent Dominic Casciani is back with more news Dominic, where do you want to start?
Well, Eddie, where do we start?